Hi, I'm Adam Smith and I'm a teaching associate and researcher here in the School of English at the University of Sheffield, and this is about feminism and me. Now, my own research is about popular print from the early 18th century, particularly periodical writing, and this tends to be writing by men, for men, about men, circulating in a predominantly but not exclusively male public sphere. So you may be forgiven for thinking that I don't consider feminism very often, but I actually do. Every single day, every time I pick up my pen. I suppose the way in which I think about feminism the most is the aspect of it that is about recovering and engaging with voices that have been silenced or forgotten by posterity, by history, and by specifically the literary canon. What do I mean by the literary canon? Well, the literary canon is the product of lots of processes and decisions which result in an establishment reading list, an idea of texts which are historically worth reading. And it's in all of our minds. It sort of hovers on the borders of our cultural consciousness. In fact, it's in your mind right now. If I were to say to you, which I will, think of some 18th century writers, I bet you're probably thinking immediately Jonathan Swift, Daniel Defoe, maybe Alexander Pope at a push, but notably you're not thinking Aphra Behn, Eliza Haywood, Anne Radcliffe, or Sarah Wilkinson. But these were all hugely successful writers. They wrote very sophisticated and interesting texts. Aphra Behn was a novelist and a playwright. Eliza Haywood wrote more 18th century novels than you could shake a very long stick at. Anne Radcliffe was the highest paid professional writer of the 18th century, and Sarah Wilkinson, well, I bet you've probably not heard of Sarah Wilkinson, but she was prolific. She wrote these things called chapbooks or blue books, which only cost a couple of pence. They were very cheaply produced and very, very widely disseminated. They got everywhere. She was a big name. This was big business, and she's been entirely forgotten pretty much by posterity. And I don't think that's only because she's a woman. I think it's because she dealt in popular print, which brings me back to my own research. Popular print from the early 18th century. And I think this is a form, popular texts, which have traditionally been very prejudiced against by the literary canon. And I think that my impulse to recover these texts and rediscover these voices is very similar to, if not the same as, the impulse in feminism to recover voices that have been silenced by history and the literary canon. So every time I go to my desk to do work and I pick up my pen and I think about recovering these voices, I think of feminism, because feminism reminds me and it reassures me that everyone, male or female, living or dead, established or popular, has the right to be heard, the right to be understood, and the right to be remembered. Thank you very much.